Welcome back. Ow, motherfucker. So Green Day has launched their 14th studio album called Saviors. I've listened to it a couple times now through, front to back. Want to give you my thoughts on it. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get started with, let's take a quick look at the Bobby Sox video again.
Do you wanna be my girlfriend? I'll take you to a movie that we've all
It's like really pretty, Bobby Sox. I don't know where that title came from, but I think it's really pretty. So
already seen. Or sit at home and watch reruns.
see, I really like this song. Lyrically, I think it's really, really good. I also think sonically it's really, really cool. I love the chorus right about here.
Do you wanna be my girlfriend?
My only gripe, by the way, this is a sick guitar. I don't know what this is. It says like Revenge right there. My only gripe is, do you want to be my girlfriend? That line makes perfect sense within the song. Or it switches to, do you want to be my boyfriend? When Billy's like got like that more like rasped and distorted sound though, I don't know if the question, do you want to be my girlfriend, should be like yelled, because I don't know if somebody was saying it, like yelling at me to like be their boyfriend, kind of weirded me out. But other than that, the song is like next to perfect, okay? So I really do like this. It's a very strong song off the record. Saviors by Green Day, 14th studio album. 98% of the people clicked like it. Now that's me too. It has received general praise and general positive reviews from critics as well. And this guy is quite the critic. He doesn't like Green Day. He says he doesn't not like Green Day, but he never gives them, you know, the time of day. So maybe at some point I'll see what he has to say. And he's probably going to give it like a 5.6. I gave it an 8.2. I really like this record. I really do. It's going to take some time to really sit in and grow and whatnot. I've heard it compared to American Idiot and Dookie as far as like career defining, and it almost feels like the sibling to them. One of those things, I haven't watched this video, but you know, it says it could join as one of their career defining albums. And I'm actually going to take that a step further and say it will be a career defining album. This is part of what I think could be the third of a triptych of Dookie, American Idiot, and now Saviors. Yeah, it's kind of fun to compare how they're all ending in 1994, 2004, 2024. But I honestly don't think that was that intentional, or, you know, you really couldn't do that much. But maybe it's just kind of showing about how long it takes to really take your time on an album. And maybe something of the other albums, as good as they are, maybe they're, in a way, the band had to go through the process of making those to make this album. So the first one you have is The American Dream is Killing Me. That was the first one we reacted to of this song. Came out October 24th. Sorry that my video on that is not super great quality, but we're going to get it better every time. Look My No Brains sounds straight off of Insomniac. Somebody did make a really cool like American Idiot mix of this song. Sounds really cool. I almost prefer that one, but this song is dope. You just heard Bobby Sox in the cool video. One-Eyed Bastard sounds kind of like a mixture of like Insomniac energy, but like Warning style of song. Dilemma is like the Boulevard of Broken Dreams off this record. It's definitely the most visceral and emotional, and it does kind of sound like What's Her Name in a good way. Not actually sounds like it, but it just reminds me of that. 1981 reminds me of She's a Rebel or St. Jimmy. Yeah, and so this song is just straight to the point. One of the things I want to show you is super catchy, but listen to this. It sounds like it could be off Insomniac or Warning at the same time, which is pretty cool. Watch Trey and Mike come back in. Like, just classic Trey and Mike, just vibing. And if you didn't have Billy's voice, or you didn't have Billy's guitar, or even if you did have the guitar, you would still know who this band is. Isn't that incredible? Like, they have such a signature sound. It just comes through in their playing. I think that's incredible as an artist. Goodnight Adeline is one of my favorite ones. Just super catchy. Just kind of... It's just so catchy. I really hope they play this one live. Coma City reminds me of Murder City, and it actually reminds me more of Letter Bomb. So that's a pretty sick song. I'm just trying to keep this short. I promise I don't actually like skip around on their songs. I've just listened to them enough. I just am trying to give you a taste without copyright issues or wasting your time too much. Corvette Summer. Corvette Summer sounds like Green Day mixed with Bruce Springsteen mixed with AC/DC. Listen to this amazing process guitar riff. Process in a good way. It's just sick. I like listen to this. Like it's just punchy. I would love to own a Corvette like convertible, just blasting the shit out of this song in the summer. Be fucking dope. Like you could not fuck with me that. Like even the cops would be like, just speed as much as you want. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Susie Chapstick. All right, here's where we're getting to an interesting part in the album. Susie Chapstick to me is not a super memorable song. I think the title is the most memorable part of it, which is not a compliment in it of itself. I think that song will grow on me. I'm not saying I dislike the song. I'm just saying it's not super memorable at the moment. Let's take a listen. It's got a beautiful rolled off kind of sound, kind of like Bobby Sox, a little more distorted. Edge of breakup. It'll grow on me. It's just not, it's one of the weaker songs on the album, in my opinion, right now. Strange Days Are Here to Stay and Living in the 20s they seem thematically similar. We stumble down the avenue like fairy dust and ballyhoo. This song kind of reminds me of something off of like Revolution Radio. And when I say that it sounds like something on another record, that's not an insult. I'm not trying to say, oh, it should have been on here, or they're just reusing stuff. I'm really not. It's actually such a compliment to say, look, stuff that they're coming up here, it sounds new, it sounds original, yet it sounds like something that could be on another album, just as far as it's true to their identity. And so, what an impossible task to release records on so many different decades, when so many different forms of music and media consumption are popular. CDs, tapes, actually, in the 80s, MP3, streaming. Like, there's just 4 different dominant ways to get your music, and to not just cave in and do something for the algorithm. Some people are like, yeah, that's what Father of All was. I don't know if it's that simple. Anyway, this album feels more fully baked, if you will. And so I think Strange Days Are Here to Stay is stronger than Living in the 20s, but I do think that this song has its spot on the record. It reminds me of this. Just here's some comparisons. I'm sure you hear it too. All right, let's move on. Father to a Son is the inverse Wake Me Up When September Ends. That song is about his father passing away and how much he misses him. This is how much his kids mean to him and how much he enjoys being their father. And so this is like an inverse Wake Me Up When September Ends. It's at a similar spot in the album towards the end, and it starts more acoustic, gets into some orchestral background, and then adds the full band, of course. Acoustic. A little more instrumentation, just a little bit. Everybody comes in. It's just got that power ballad sound. Saviors, the title track. We have to talk about the title track. This has one of my favorite lyrics of the whole album, if not my current favorite, and that is right here. We are the last of the rockers making a commotion. I absolutely think that's true. If you think about like true rooted rock stars that started long, long ago, they're still the only ones around. You think about somebody like Sublime with Brad Noel, like he died before their fame even took off, and now they're Sublime with Rome. If you think about Alice in Chains, Lane Staley died in 2002. If you think about Nirvana, it's been 30 years since Kurt died. Stone Temple Pilots, Scott Weiland, he died in 2015. And so all these rock bands from like the 90s, 80s, they're not around anymore. Man, it's hard to be together and relevant and making art that people enjoy. It's next to impossible. I think Green Day is the only one that have done this. You can tell just by the publicity and the PR that Green Day did. They care about this album. They love this album. They want people to listen and like it, and they want to get people to the tour in the stadium. They're reviving American Idiot in full, Dookie in full. And I'm wondering how much of this album they're going to play. I'll make my guesses at the very end. But case in point is they were formed in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. 5 different decades that they have been together making music. And they've been releasing records in 4 of them, and 3 of them are like career-defining records. The only one that, like the trilogy and Revolution Radio, they all came out in the 2010s. And the trilogy was an experiment. It was, in a lot of ways, a failed experiment. And I think that Green Day would be the ones to tell you that too. Like, hey, we should have just released them all at once, or we should have just taken the best and just released, one 20-song record. But it was an experiment. And so was American Idiot. And that one was a home run. Dookie was quite a step up. And I think in a lot of ways, there's a lot of risks that they took on this album too. Time will tell how much it's going to stick, but I think the PR and how much they believe in it and the tour that they're putting on for this, I think that says a lot. I really think that says a lot. I think this is the triptych of the Dookie, American Idiot, and Saviors. I think this is a career capstone. I don't know what's next for Green Day after this. I don't think they're thinking that far ahead, nor do they need to. The fact that they've been a band for so long, I feel like they don't want to be anything else but a band. I don't think they want to retire, but I also know that they don't want their relevancy to fade. They don't want to be a legacy act. They want to be political and in your face and telling you what they think and telling you what they feel, and that's exactly what they did with this record. So finally, we got to talk about Fancy Sauce. Fancy Sauce started as my least favorite song on this record, just on the very first listen. It is now in my top 5. Top 3 is pretty tough to crack, but here's why. It's the last song on the record. And I know that just sounds like a stupid reason, but the last song on a record is the ending of the album, which is a work of art as its own. So each song is an individual piece of art, and the collection is something else. So Fancy Sauce gets a little silly, kind of like All By Myself. It gets a little bit nostalgic and sad, kind of like Amy. It has kind of like Amy off of Dose sound, but it's also pretty political. And so this song feels like the perfect goodbye for this record. How I can also relate to it is Male Fantasy off of Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever. It feels kind of like that kind of slow send-off. And even more so, it feels like The Last Resort by the Eagles off of the 1976 Hotel California. Very political, but slow ballad. I just really like this song and like what it has to say, and I think that this one gets the Most Improved award. I think my favorite song on the record is Goodnight Adeline for the catchiness. I think the bop of it is actually Corvette Summer over One-Eyed Bastard, and I think American Dream is kind of like the American Idiot of this record. I love how it kind of kicks it off. I think there's a lot of really strong elements in this. Again, I'm going to give it an 8.2. I don't know if that's low or high. I just made that up. It's very strong. This is definitely way better perceived and put together than Father of All, even though I liked it. This is on par with Revolution Radio, which I don't think it got the credit and the recognition it deserved. I think people were just kind of over Green Day at that time. But we will see. We will see what people say and what they do. So props so much to Green Day and Rob Cavallo for putting together an amazing record. 15 strong songs that are going to grow on me and grow with me in the future. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite and maybe the song that's going to have to grow on you the most is. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much. Catch you in the next one. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Hello. Thank you for watching. And I'm glad you're here. Thank you.